you got any positivity for the Celtics to possibly bring this one back to Boston by chance? I don't know, man. I don't see it.
No, like there's no way that Boston is going to beat Miami 4 out of 5 games. It's not going to happen. I was expecting Miami to be a tough out at home anyway. Like the fact that they beat them on the road 2 times, and Jimmy, he smells blood. He's not a guy that's gonna be like, yo, he's not gonna sit back and relax, like, like he smelled blood. So like, not only come out and win, games 3 and game 4, they're gonna embarrass them boys.
Yeah, yeah, because and I'll leave, I'll leave it at this. Last year, how he went out with the jump shot that was a good shot, and losing and the Celtics going on to the finals. You got to believe that the same way the Celtics came back and played well and their record was amazing at the beginning of the season, you got to believe that Jimmy feels a way about that too, because they was right there on the cusp of going to the finals as well.
Set the tone. Yeah. Fresh new year, fresh night, walk with a bop like I really don't care. I don't care. Blows the shit, scorching I'm lit. In the plain white tee, got immaculate drip. Cut from a different cloth like I'm shopping at Kith.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. I go by Kash, aka Exec P. This is episode 203. Y'all know it's the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, so that's exactly what we getting in today. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm joined by a friend of the show, my man King James. Man, he here to run down the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals for you. We are recording live right after Boston's terrible loss, man. James, let's get right into it, man. You called it. You said they were gonna go down 2-0 at the beginning of the game, man. What are your initial thoughts on this fallout?
Boston is just an unserious team, man. Like they clearly the more talented team. Like you said, they play down to their competition. We it's weird, man, because it's like like you see what Jason Tatum can do in the game 7. You know what I'm saying? 50 points, and you got home court advantage is what you work for the whole season, and you lose 2 games, so the series pretty much over now. Like, do you bust that team up now? You know what I'm saying? This is the, you know,
This is the time to do this. I mean, if they do, it depends on how they go out, right? You got to keep in mind they're 25 and 26 respectively. The guys, the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So I was reading something the other day, and it was like, yo, nobody's ever done this much in such short amount of time in a career in terms of superstars of their teams, tandems like these guys. Like, if you really think about it, who was making deep runs like this, like conference finals appearances, finals appearances? Do you just give up on that just like everybody else is giving up on it, like in this win now or you get fired type of mentality out here? I mean, three of the top coaches in the East and West in the last couple of years, coach of the years in the last 3 years, they all gone for different reasons. But teams just, they don't really have the time to wait anymore like it was back in the day, man. So for me, I'm like, absolutely. If it's a sweepstakes to get Jaylen Brown, then you know where I want him to come.
So my thing is, like, if I'm Boston, I'm definitely not like you basically got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like, to me, those are like your rocks. Now, like, what can you get for Marcus Smart? You know what I'm saying? Al Horford, time to put him out the pasture. Like you got like a lot of fringe players like Derek White. That's what I mean in terms of like a rebuild. Like, do you try to move Robert Williams to get a more skilled?
Okay, so you trying to move a defensive player of the year. I know people give him shit about that, but then the other thing is that you got to take into account, and I know we dig in the early grave, people, but the other thing you got to take into account is the supermax for both of them. They both made all NBA teams. Boston historically doesn't pay players like that. They'll pay one, but two, at a certain point, man, if they go out bad like this, they go down 3-1. I mean, 6 games, maybe they keep it together. They go out in less than 6 games, I think you
bro.
cancel Christmas.
It doesn't even matter. Like the fact that they're gonna lose to Miami Heat, like, bro, the Heat lost a play-in game to the Hawks. Like, you know,
Facts. But this is the number 1 team from last year. Like they literally just played in the conference finals last year.
true indeed. But what and that's what I mean by like Boston being like an unserious team, because like they definitely a team where it's like championship or bust. They have championship aspirations. So there's not gonna be any kind of moral victory that you can pull from the season, losing in the finals and then like losing 2 home games in this fashion. It's ridiculous.
And to be
It-
doing it all playoffs long, I mean all season long for the most part. Home hasn't been kind to them. Is there something to say, I kind of go back to Coach Spoelstra. Let's go to coaching. Down the stretch, yes, Tatum needs to have the ball in his hand. He had the ball in his hand a lot more tonight in terms of down the stretch, but he did turn the ball over. He did make a few bonehead plays, was out of control. And then I think Spoelstra you can see the body language. Did you see Spoelstra just making calls or making adjustments, running damn near to the half court line within that last 2 minutes? And you see Mazzulla just in disgust, walking up and down the bench, not really saying anything. It's just like stark differences between what's happening. This kid is out of his league. I'm calling him a kid. I know he's about 35 years old in Missoula, but man, he's being outclassed, and his team is just very uncharacteristic, man. Like I didn't see them losing leads like this before. Last year, like they may have gotten tired and worn out, but it wasn't as bad as it is this year. Like, what do you blame that lack of focus on?
But I mean, it's that they're pretty much a jump shooting team. Like they
Yeah,
don't. The one thing you notice about these teams, who that don't have like a paint presence to where they can go down there and get easy baskets, and I mean like not like a secondary basket, like a center that can generate their own offense on the block. That ain't Robert Williams. It's certainly not Horford now. So like you rely on your jumper. Like when jumpers like if that's how you're playing, you're always going to allow a team that's attacking the basket to get back into the game. We saw it with the Lakers and the Nuggets. Nuggets like pouring it on, pouring it on. Some of those shots stop falling. The Lakers can make a little run. They can get back into the game because they're constantly attacking the basket. You know, so I don't necessarily think it's a lack of focus. It's just like the nature of jump shooting. You're gonna be streaky. Like you might have a quarter, like Boston have quarters where they don't miss. They also have more
yeah.
taking
But
game.
Miami too, they do the same shit. They have quarters where they don't miss.
You know,
You
and
know,
and it, like Miami's definitely a talented team, but like when you go by position, like position by position, you really can't say that Miami has the advantage. Like anywhere. Except Jimmy Butler and Jalen Brown. Like that would be like the only. And then like is Jalen Brown really playing the three? Like does he play? You know what I'm saying? Like they can mix and match. So basically, they should be winning this game. They should be winning this series easily. But it's like you said, they got Coach Spoelstra like, yo, you gotta give him his flowers. Like, this is gonna be his second time going back to the finals. After his little run with LeBron and the big three. Like he one of the greats. He's one of the great coaches. Like to be able to rebuild, this team, and even when they weren't competing for a championship, they still were a solid team.
yeah.
So
No Victor Oladipo, no Tyler
yeah.
Hero, like pretty big core parts of what they do in rotational pieces. But man, Gabe
And,
Vincent,
and look
I
at
mean,
they have contributed in the clutch. You talking about Gabe?
like big, like I've been like again, y'all. If y'all don't know and y'all watching, listening for the first time, huge Knicks fan, like on Knicks fan. I was cussing them boys out. I was so disrespectful to Gabe Vincent, Strus, all of them, just because of I'm jealous of how this fucking farm system they have works every single time. Every single time. And that has to do with the scouting department, coaches, Spo at the head of that snake, man. It's just like they just find these guys, man, that are gamers, and you can't disrespect them. I think Jeff Van Gundy was saying something earlier. It was like it's time we stop saying the undrafted guy and this, that, and the third, because they hoopers for real. And they showing out from guys that's drafted in the first round, second round, and they just here, man, and they taking on that mentality of Jimmy. And I gotta give that man his flowers too, man. He busting their ass, and in the clutch, nobody
So,
can guard him.
so
Nobody on their team can guard him.
this is what I'll say about Jimmy Butler. This is what I say about Jimmy Butler. Like, he definitely is one of the greatest playoff performers. I'm not gonna say of all time, because I think to be one of the greatest playoff performers of
You
all
gotta
time,
win.
you got to win one. You know, but on that next tier, he's there. Like, if you want to talk about, like, like the Hardens and all those guys, like the great players, he stands on top of that of Mount Olympus.
Yeah,
On the, like, there's nobody like him. Because he hasn't won, but he don't really have the expectation to win. Because, like, even in the bubble, like, nobody expected Miami to be
true,
there.
true.
Nobody expects Miami to be here now. So it was like, all
He's
right,
never
like,
had any pressure. He's always been an underdog in any series from the time the Chicago days when they were pretty much the underdogs every time they went against Cleveland and shit like that. But still, he still brought it, But at the end of the day, man, like this guy gives it everything, man. You literally have to take it from one of his teams in the last couple years, especially this Heat iteration of who Jimmy Buckets is. Like you can't leave it to chance because he senses it, and then all of a sudden, like I mean, they talk about this poke the bear thing, and I think it's a little overrated, but it wasn't tonight. It wasn't tonight. As soon as old buddy started talking that noise to Jimmy, what'd he do?
yeah. And that's just stupid. It's like, it's certain guys you don't talk to. There's certain guys that, if they don't got it going, you want to be respectful and let them struggle on their own and try to find their own motivation. You don't want to give Jimmy Butler no kind of motivation. You know what I'm saying? You don't, like, 'cause he wanted them warnings. Like, he liked that shit talk. He liked, he played.
Never gonna
So,
lose his cool either. He gonna talk back with you. It's
you
it's
know,
insane.
so you definitely don't want to, like, give him any kind of motivation to, like, bust your ass for real. Especially when he ain't got it going. Like, hey, and you were already down 0-1. You should have been saying nothing. Like, y'all should have came out there,
Right.
like, working, like. And that's why I say Boston's not a serious team, man. I don't know any great team that would drop game one with home court advantage, and then come out and drop game two. I don't know. I don't think
And,
I've ever
and,
seen.
again, Williams is a good piece. He can talk shit. That's what he does. He's kind of like a Draymond super light for
Yeah,
Boston, but you know what I mean. This man just moving along at getting his average in Jimmy Butler. Like he didn't have a crazy game. He just got his average tonight. 27. His normal 1-2, but like he wasn't really doing that much damage in the fourth quarter before that little back and forth and that scuffle, and then after that it was pretty much Jimmy or bust, and he got it done again, man. Hats off to him. Like I got nothing but praise. I can't hate, man. He's one of the best performers I've seen in recent memory in the playoffs, man. When it counts.
this is what I'm gonna say about shit talk, Like, and Draymond started this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, your shit talk needs to come from your team's best players. Like, like when Draymond was really going at Paul Pierce, saying he didn't deserve the farewell tour and all that shit. Like, Draymond is a great player, but on the Golden State Warriors, like, at that time, it should have really
Yeah.
been players talking. But honestly, it should have only been one player talking. Should only been Steph Curry. Steph Curry can say what the fuck he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have, like, Robert Williams talking shit. If you Jaylen Brown and you Jason Tatum, you, like, one of them should have been like, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need you talking. Like, you get my rebounds, play defense. That's what you do. Stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, he not guarding fucking fucking Jimmy Butler. So why you talking to him for? You gonna
No,
get him?
I mean, you getting mixed up with him every now and then, but that's not your assignment.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. You gonna
For the most part.
got to stick this motherfucker full court? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's my responsibility. Like, when we lose, motherfuckers not lining up to talk to Robert Williams. Like, when the fucking Golden State Warriors Motherfuckers not trying to talk to Draymond first. They want to talk to Steph. So if the weight is on my shoulders, I'm the one that can talk shit. If you're not the one that everybody gonna blame this shit on, don't say nothing, yo. And like a lot of teams take that to heart because it's too many people talking shit. Way too many.
Yo, let's talk about some of the no-shows that showed up or didn't show up rather for Boston that have been playing relatively well throughout the playoffs. Old man Horford locked down Embiid in the last series. Was a crucial part in games 5, 6, and 7 to go ahead and close that out. Bam has been having his way with him. You know what I mean? Just out hustling him. He's more athletic, I would say, just kind of what he does. So he's gonna. What's that?
That he's also healthy.
Right, and he's healthy as well. So that age disparity is showing there in activity. Also, I gotta say, man, Jaylen Brown, 4 points, 6 points, I believe, in the first half. Anemic second half. He's gone missing when they need him. I mean, they'll talk about Tatum till the cows come home because, of course, the man just put up 51 in the game 7. So you know, too much is given. You know, you got the responsibility to show up, but your sidekick ain't really showing up in the first 2 games, and he's not really being talked about. So when you couple that all together with just the late game breakdowns, it's just like maybe this Heat team is just hungrier, better coach, and just a better team. Like maybe the regular season is a mirage.
They're certainly better coached. There's no way that they should be hungrier, you know, because Boston has been so close, and you know, to like not be able to get back there in the recent years, and this is your best chance since then. You know, maybe they just took Miami light, like hell, like there's no way this team is going to beat us in 7-game series, and came out sleepwalking. Like the thing with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the only way that relationship is not going to work is, you know, if they can't figure out who the dog is. Like in the crunch time, who gets the ball? And that's one thing about Jaylen Brown. He need the ball in his hands to be effective. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to bring the ball up court. He got to slash. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes he don't really get his shots. So I think if they had a more veteran coach, they could have probably worked that out. You know, that's their like one Achilles heel.
Let's stay there. Do you think that them just hiring from within and going with their coach in Boston, do you think that was probably something that is coming back to bite them in the ass with just his inexperience?
Absolutely. Because it's like, you know, you don't want somebody's first car to be like a, you know, a Maserati or something. Like they don't know about maintenance and taking care of the car. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody that done had a busted ass Hugo. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, like I got to make sure the oil change, the tires rotating. You don't have a team that's ready to win, and you just pick any coach. Like, yo, you can do this. Like, no, like the Celtics are built to win. They should have been kicking the tires on any real head coach. You'd have felt like, okay, you can win a championship. Or like somebody that's gonna come in and when they say something, you really take it to heart when things aren't going good. Because when it's going,
Or they shouldn't have let that little ass grab, you know, Ime Udoka. They shouldn't have let it. Maybe you should. Maybe you should have not came down as hard on him because this shit is bad.
Because I agree, they definitely shouldn't have let him go. You know, but if you are, you know, you just don't. Hey, we're gonna have and Joe Mazzulla might turn out to be a fine coach, but he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be in a situation. He just shouldn't have.
But that was, I mean, on the flip side, that was his first head coaching job, Ime Udoka, and he got them to the finals. Albeit, I believe he has a little bit more experience with playing in the league and being behind the Coach Popovich and kind of how he came up. So I think he was more ready. You know, at 35, I'm not saying that you're not ready for a head coaching gig, but it just seems like there ain't too many 35-year-olds on the bench historically that are just kind of making those type of deep runs, unless you're talking about a Eric Spoelstra that has had a fucking damn near 20-year 15-year run as the Heat coach at this point, or a little bit more than that, a lot more than that overall with the organization. So
Because I remember when he was the young guy, like, yo, who is this kid? That's going to be coaching. The big three.
Yeah, the
Oh, and
video room, all that stuff they used to say about him. Yeah.
he also had Pat Riley behind him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a little different. It's a little different. So like I feel like I don't know what these execs are thinking, but it's like, yo, like maybe coaching isn't as important, and maybe these guys just need somebody that they can identify with. And I think you're starting to see a lot more of that because there's some young coaches, like some young, like former players that are like coaches now. Um,
Yeah. I was
you know,
seeing JJ Redick was getting a shot with Toronto recently. So I
yeah,
dig it. I dig former players and young guys getting shot. So it's no shot at that. But sometimes
gotta make
when it get
sense.
when it gets to this winning time, man, this nut check time, crunch time, 5 minutes or less, it rears its ugly head as far as the inexperience goes. So I'm holding out hope just for the sake of this time of the year I get kind of sad because we down to our final days of hoop before we go through them dog days of summer. So as much as I don't fucking like either team, to be honest with you, I could care less for those guys. Being the homer that I am, I just want to see more basketball, and the fact that Boston has fucking laid a goose egg at home, it just doesn't bode too well, man, with how the Heat just look and how they're carrying themselves, man. So you got any positivity for the Celtics to possibly bring this one back to Boston by chance? I don't know, man. I don't see it.
No, like there's no way that Boston is going to beat Miami 4 out of 5 games. It's not going to happen. I was expecting Miami to be a tough out at home anyway. Like the fact that they beat them on the road 2 times, like and Jimmy, he smells blood. He's not a guy that's gonna be like, yo, like like he's not gonna sit back and relax, like like he smelled blood. So like not only to come out and win, games 3 and game 4, they're gonna embarrass them boys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, because and I'll leave, I'll leave it at this. Last year, how he went out with the jump shot that was a good shot, and losing and the Celtics going on to the finals. You got to believe that the same way the Celtics came back and played well and their record was amazing at the beginning of the season, you got to believe that Jimmy feels a way about that too, because
yeah,
they was right there on the cusp of going to the finals as well for the second time in the last couple years. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said from that. And these guys have huge histories with each other. They know each other's organizations in and out as far as the scouting report. So I mean, to me, it just comes down to heart, man. And it just seems like the heart and the mind, Boston just not matching up right now well, and it's unfortunate because to me, I thought they were gonna win this championship, man. Like
ooh,
I
no,
just felt
you
like they were the best team left, but
no,
boy
no.
was I wrong.
Like I definitely thought they were coming out of the East. I didn't think they were going to win the championship. I definitely felt like the champion was going to come out of the West. Like the champion just had like the West has the best bigs. Like you either got Jokic or Anthony Davis. Either one of those guys can be able to do whatever the hell they want to do if they move on. So I just don't foresee an Eastern Conference team being able to overcome that. Because like I said, it's like when you got Jokic or you got Anthony Davis, like you can literally give them the ball on the block and take possessions off. It's like, yo, get a bucket, and both these teams lack. Because like Bam Adebayo, like he's like an active big. He's kind of undersized, but he don't have a back to basket game. And Robert Williams hang on the other side. Versus you got guys that are like murder you in the paint. So yeah, it's hard to overcome that in a 7 game series if you don't have.
Most you're gonna get from Bam is a whole lot of activity, which is nothing to really snooze at, and probably 18 feet, and then that's what you're gonna get from Bam, and a lot of
Bam
hustle points.
player, by the way, we're not shitting on him. He's an incredible
No,
player.
no, I'm not. I'm trying not to shit on him because he gets after it, man. But I mean, you brought up the West, so let's go there, man. Lakers are down 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
Denver beat them in 2 different ways. One in
Yeah,
a blowout for the majority of game one. Lakers made a crazy comeback. Like Mike Malone said, all that everybody could talk about is how the Lakers came back, and they didn't talk about the triple double, which a lot of people talked about the damn triple double. But
they
I
got
get what he. Ah, yeah, Yeah, I get what he's doing. He's still campaigning for his man. I mean, a 2-time MVP. I don't think he really need to campaign all that much. But I feel the us against the world vibes. I get it. You know what I mean? You got to do that. It's the Lakers, right? And then Lakers come out, play them in a close game, lose in game 2 in similar fashion to how the Boston Celtics lost, with down the stretch just, uncharacteristic plays by their superstars. And so, do you have a different feeling in this instance, in this series? Do you see the Lakers time even, well, at least getting a game, getting game 3? Let's start there.
They're definitely gonna win game 3. Like I don't even think it's a question. Like so, if you're the Nuggets, you know what I'm saying. I feel as if you're happy that you didn't you protected your home, but you have to realize that those were very close games. And those games could have went either way. Like LeBron, so let's say game 2, for example. LeBron smokes a fast break dunk. That's 2 points. You got a
Yeah,
question.
man. He got
A go.
caught a flat tire, man.
Yeah,
Wait, yeah.
it was a couple of plays like that, and you come back and you win the game by 5 points. So it's like, hold on now, like so that 2-0 is kind of like a mirage because it's a little different. And then it's like we're completely dominating these guys, and we let them come all the way back. And actually cut it down to a 1-point game. So it's like, yeah, the car's moving. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going at a good rate of speed, but your check engine light on. You got to figure out what the fuck is wrong before your shit break down. So that's why I feel like that's how they should be. If you're the Lakers, it's like, yo, we didn't handle our business. You know what I'm saying? We had 2 opportunities to win, and we didn't capitalize on those opportunities. Now we're at home. We got a whole court at home, and we got to go back game 5, 2-2. And I think, like, with Bron and AD, and then like the others that are going to be playing well, like Schroeder hasn't played well. Lonnie Walker has been kind of quiet. D'Angelo Russell hasn't played well. I think those guys are going to enjoy being home. They're going to give a much better performance. And then your constants, Bron, AD, Austin Reeves, even Jared Vanderbilt, him playing defense on Jamal Murray and stuff. Like, I just feel like they have enough to get over the hump. Like, Jamal Murray scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, bro. If you got somebody scoring 24 points in the fourth quarter, you should expect to win that game, right? And then you see it like, damn, y'all won by 5, and he went God mode. That don't bode well. You know what I'm saying? Like, typically that's a blowout. So yeah, the Nuggets are up 2-0, but it's an entirely different feel. The Nuggets were expected to win their games at home. The Lakers haven't lost at home all postseason. So and I expect that trend to continue.
Well, let me open up by saying I picked the Lakers to win this series. But I'll counter with if this was my team, and this is how I'm typically encouraged with my team. When my team tends to win these type of games that we have no business winning, when we don't play, when we blow leads, but we still close it out, we right the ship right beforehand, because the Lakers are a damn good team. Like you said earlier today when we was talking offline, and everybody knows the Lakers have been the best team since the All-Star break. So this ain't your regular 7 seed, and it's fucking King James and Anthony Davis. Like, when they're at their best, arguably the best duo in the league to lace them up when they're at their best, right? But they still didn't execute in both of those games down the stretch. And you had a 40-10 game from AD. You had the game you needed from AD, and you still lost that second game. We know AD doesn't do back-to-backs well, so but he still was active. He still was active in that second game. So I won't give him shit for not scoring 40, because that's not to be expected all the time. But they still won those games in the Nuggets. So to me, I'm not that confident in the Lakers anymore, just off the strength that they took your best blow pause in 2 different ways. You know what I mean? Blowout, you come back, you still lose. You play them in a close game. Murray goes nuclear in the fourth quarter. Can't hit shit all 3 quarters. Where are your guys doing that? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what kind of scares me, because I don't believe that the Lakers are gonna get a blowout in LA like they've been blowing everybody else out. Like, this is the number 1 team in the West for a reason, and I just don't think that they get blown out. Their bench players are tough, man. They've played tough wherever they've played all year long. So I got reason to believe these games are going to be close. It's not going to be a runaway thing.
My thing with Denver is like, like their rap sheet says that they're an average road team. They're an average team on the road. They're damn near unbeatable at home. They're an average team on the road. So that just lets me know that okay, like outside of their superstars, like their other contributors don't play well on the road, and
Yeah.
that's par for the course. And I just think that the Lakers have more other guys, than the Nuggets do. Because if we're talking about the others, so you got KCP, you got Michael Porter Jr., you got Aaron Gordon, and then on the Lakers, you got Austin Reeves, you got what's my guy, Jared Vanderbilt, you got D'Angelo,
Vanderbilt, Russell.
sometimes you got Lonnie Walker, like they just have more. Rui, oh my God, Rui.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's been amazing, man. Like he's been amazing. Like that
So
excellent pickup.
yeah, I just feel like the Lakers have more others, and they're not going to be able to sustain that at home because your others are just more comfortable. Is where they like playing. They're getting cheered instead of booed. It's not a hostile environment. They're more comfortable on the rims and stuff. Like they know the spots. Like I just feel like that's too much for Denver to overcome. They might not get like blown out by like 20, but I do think they're going to get one double digit game. Like Denver has not been a dominant road team. Even in the playoffs, they haven't been a dominant road team.
No.
So
Outside of that closeout game in Phoenix, a lot of their road games been tough.
Yeah, so it's I'm not knocking Phoenix. I'm just saying that, and to your point when you said Phoenix, I mean when you said that Denver took the Lakers' best shot. I don't think Anthony Davis scoring 40 points is the Lakers' best shot. I think the Lakers are best when Anthony Davis scores around 20, has around 20 rebounds and 3 or 4 blocks. And that's what he didn't do well that game, game one. He didn't rebound well. So it's like the Lakers don't need Anthony Davis to score 40 points. They need Anthony Davis to get 20 rebounds. So I don't think they haven't had a game to where the Lakers are really.
You almost said we. I was about to say we who. Go ahead.
You already know I ride with King James, bro. You already know.
Yeah.
I'm a Hornets fan, bro. I got to get my basketball fix from somebody.
Ooh, yeah, we could talk about that the draft after we get through with this. But
they don't want us to be great, man. We almost had LaMelo. You know what I'm saying? Like in on the same team with Wembanyama, it was going to be must see TV, but whatever. But yeah, I think the Lakers are best when Anthony Davis scores 20, gives you 20 boards, 3 or 4 blocks. Now he hasn't had that kind of game yet, so I think they just need to reiterate AD. Like we don't need you to go crazy on the points. We need you to go crazy on the. You need to be grabbing every single rebound. Like that should be his goal to get 20 rebounds. Because I think if Anthony Davis gets 20 rebounds, there's no way in hell that the Nuggets win games. Like they score a lot of second chance points. So if they're controlling the glass, you cut off some of those shots.
How do they slow down Jokic? Like that's I mean, he hasn't been slowed down this entire playoffs. I don't think there's anybody there that can really defend him on the Lakers one-on-one, but they did in spurts do a great job. Specifically, I like how LeBron allowed and took that assignment and allowed AD to play that center field position. But you can't expect the King to get bruised down there. Like I get it. He'll go down there and do it now at this stage of his career, but who are the others that will be able to kind of defend him in a way to make him uncomfortable at the catch point? Because that's the only way you're gonna stop Joker is to make him uncomfortable, or number two, the other thing is when he does that point forward shit. I saw the Heat doing it to Jalen Brunson, and he's a point guard. They were giving him fits just walking right up the damn court with him the entire time. They wasn't getting into their offense till about fucking 14 to 12 seconds. I think that's how you stop Joker, is to wear his ass out, because he was gassed in the second half.
So and it's really hard because like what Mike Malone does is that when Jokic is guarding AD on a block, there's always like a help defender nearby. So he's never like truly really guarding them one on one. But like you can't really stop Jokic. He just does too many things. He can shoot, he can drive, he got a mid range, he got post, and he can pass. So I don't think you focus so much on trying to stop his offensive game. You make him tired by working on defense. That's what you got to do. You got to make him tired by working on defense. So if you can do that, that's going to take away from his game. And because I mean, shit, like you can't stop him. You can't stop him. Like even like throwing two defenders at him. That's like that's not going to stop him at
Yeah,
all.
it's a nightmare with the way they move the ball.
Yeah.
Like,
He just
yeah.
has, so it's like, yeah, don't even try. It's like you got to make him work on defense. Like whoever he's guarding, you need to be making sure that you're moving him around so that Jokic can't just like the worst thing that they can do is like AD back to the basket, back. Nah, because you just let Jokic stand there. Move AD around. Like make Jokic move. You know what I'm saying? Get some switching action and stuff. Get him on somebody that he got to come away from the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to do something to move his feet.
Bro, we are 4 games from the NBA's nightmare. Heat Nuggets finals. Like we are literally 4 games away from a ratings nightmare. And I couldn't be happier. Like, I mean, I couldn't be happier because like I just think that the people need to see these new faces in these new spaces, and if you beat the best in terms of a champion and King James and AD, then you deserve to be on that platform so that you can shine. And I think at a certain point, these guys gotta bust through, right? I mean, this is their second time in the Western Conference Finals in the Nuggets. The only reason I think they've been bad the last couple years is because Murray was gone. And I want to address somebody specifically. My little brother. He gave me shit and asked me to run down, name 10 point guards better than Murray and all this other shit. And I told him, I said, look, when this man comes back, he's going to be a problem. And lo and behold, what is Murray doing out there? You know what I mean? He is the difference maker. He's a gamer in the playoffs. And he's just now heating up and getting to the point where he was damn near 2 years ago. So I mean, I think he's just like he's not just like Jimmy Buckets, but just certain guys elevate their game in these playoffs, man. And he's one of those guys. You may not see it. He may not ever make the All-Star team and all that shit because there's a lot of talented point guards out west that you may start a franchise with besides him, but I can't name 5 that I'm gonna say out west that I would say give me them instead of him in the playoffs. And that's just going off the track, his short track record in the playoffs and making deep runs.
Yeah, and I mean, and one thing I do want to say is that we got to stop talking about Jokic like he's some scrappy player that doesn't get his respect. Like I can't stand that shit. Like, bro, he won 2 MVPs, bro. He's won MVPs.
Nobody watches it though, James. Nobody watch. Nobody.
That's because of the market, though. Like,
right.
It's not our fault that he plays in Denver. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like ask anybody, like, yo, name a prominent a Denver Nuggets legend. They're not gonna have anybody.
You thinking Carmelo Anthony? You thinking Mutombo? You know what I mean?
And that's what. And I'm thinking about like even like back in like like Michael Jordan days. Like who played for the Nuggets back then? Like I don't know why, but like Michael Olowokandi name come to mind. I don't know who the fuck played for the Nuggets, so that's why. It has nothing to do with Jokic and us not liking his game or us not acknowledging him as a great player. It's because you're in Denver, bro. You're in Denver. The same way like Charlotte has great players, you know what I'm saying? But people won't know, like, oh, like, what is Kelly Oubre doing? Nobody knows that Kelly Oubre, he had a pretty good season. It's because of Charlotte, bro. It has nothing to do with Kelly Oubre. So, Jokic is never going to be a superstar unless he gets to a superstar market. Well, he's not going to be treated like a superstar.
Yeah, he won't be treated. He won't be treated because he's not the most athletic. He's not jumping out the gym. I think I probably got more hops than him at 40 years old. You know what I mean? My vert is probably crazier. But but that's the thing. Like you go in any local barbershop and all of that and you hear the banter and shit like that. Yo, they literally voted for MVP for Embiid, and I think Embiid deserved it this time after all of the campaigning and shit like that. But I know there was specifically people out in the media that were just against giving giving it to Joker for a third time in a row, just based on his overall body of work of not truly making a huge impact in the playoffs and this team advancing to the finals and or winning a championship, which I
DeMar-
think is a bit unfair.
DeMarcus Cousins said it best. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, if Jokic wins another MVP and he's 3 times back, he's 3-time MVP.
I
Three,
remember that.
you're saying that he's the best center to ever play the game. Is Jokic the best center to ever play the game? Hell no.
No, he's not. He's not.
So, and we also have to not act as if he's going to be the first guy to not win an MVP based off something outside of the game. It's the
No,
reason.
it's happened to
Like,
the best. I mean, what, Kobe got one?
like LeBron. LeBron should have way more MVP. Shaq lost 2 to Steve Nash. We're talking about an MVP who didn't even average 20 points a game. It is insane. So he's not the first guy that this happened to. And then it's like we also have to acknowledge the defensive side of the ball. That's like Jokic is trash on defense. Like, he's not a good defender by any stretch of the
No,
imagination.
He's not a good defender.
So,
He's gotten to be serviceable over the years.
exactly. But it's like, so like when you look at Embiid and Jokic, it's not like it's like a runaway for Jokic. I think Jokic is like a better all-around center. You know what I'm saying? Much better passer, but Embiid is a much better defender.
Yeah,
So
facts.
and then it's like, they finished with the same record. I think the Sixers might have had a better record than the Nuggets. The East was the best conference, the better conference, for the most
top to bottom. I would say that.
It wasn't like people were like saying like, yo, like, this is it's not a travesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you said, I feel like Embiid deserved to win MVP this year. I feel like he was the best center. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a robbery by any stretch of the imagination. But like people want out to be like, oh, like you just didn't want to. Like, no, like, they had a chance to run away with the West and they didn't do it.
I'm just happy that people are getting to see, his abilities on full display, where you have to just focus on what he's doing out there and all of the nuances of his game. You know what I mean? I think that's what the beauty of his game is, the outlet passes, just him seeing the floor in such a fashion that's similar to LeBron James, but I don't think we've seen a center quite do it the way he's doing it. You know what I mean? I won't say it's Magic Johnson-esque, but it's like that's how Magic Johnson came to the point, how he played point guard as a point forward. We're seeing it with him as a center, and again, it's not as flashy. It may not get a lot of sports in the highlights, but man, if you've ever hooped, what he's doing is making the game completely easier for his teammates, and I'm just glad everybody's getting to see it.
Yeah, and what takes Jokic to the next level is his shooting. Like he's a true big that can shoot. Most of the time, you have like a center shooting threes or like a fringe big. Jokic is like a true back to the basket big that can step out and hit the three at a high clip.
One play that sticks out to me, speaking of shooting, is that one bucket he got on Anthony Davis that was just kind of like one of them wind up toss to the sides at the end of the shot clock, and it went in, and just all Anthony Davis could do was just give the Jordan shrug. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm glad
he got it all.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's why I feel okay if I'm the Lakers, because it's like, yo, Jokic hit a shot like that. We played perfect defense, had them in the worst situation, and he hit the Angels in the outfield shot. And Jamal comes back and
he did the same shit.
LeBron. You know what I'm saying? And that's a game that they won by 6 points when they had over a 20-point lead at one time. So it's like, if I'm the Lakers, it's like, yo, if he shoot that shot 10 times, that's the one time he was going to make it. So they're like, all right, like, yo, we're in a good space. Now they absolutely have to win at home. They got a whole court at home. I don't think this is a team that they can go down 3-1 and come back and beat. I don't see that. So they got to win both at home. But I think they will win both at home, and I think they'll win them convincingly.
Convincingly.
Double digits.
Earlier, you gotta put a little something on your convincingly in terms of the point spread that you said earlier. It raised my eyebrow. It raised my eyebrow earlier.
Okay.
What was the point? You said double digits.
Man, so game 3, I got Lakers minus 10.5. I got Lakers minus. Right. I don't feel going to be. I don't feel like it's going to be a close game at all, and I feel like it's going to be a game where Mike Malone's like, you know what? All right, we're going to sit our starters down. We're going to regroup. Come back for game 4. That's what I feel. I feel by the third quarter, it's going to be over with.
All right, and before we finish off with the conference finals, do you have the Celtics winning anything in Miami?
Honestly, I don't. I don't. I don't. I really don't. Like, if that locker room is not as tight as they portray themselves to be, the fractures are going to start showing themselves. And I don't think mentally they're tough enough to, really like go into Miami and get a game. Now anything can happen, like an injury or like Jimmy could get in foul trouble, and they might can squeak one out that way. But if we're talking about like just outplaying Miami in this situation, no, because I don't think Miami wants to give them any kind of hope. They understand. Everybody realizes how like Jason Tatum just scored 50 points in a game 7. You don't want to see these motherfuckers in a game 7.
No,
You
you
on these.
definitely don't.
So I'm telling you, like Jimmy telling these dudes, like, yo, game 3 is a must-win game for us. Like we got to come out through hell and high water. We got to get game 3, because if we get game 3, then they'll fold game 4.
Yeah, I think they'll fold game 4, but well, I'll see everything I need to see in that first half. If that first half is nip and tuck, then maybe they get game 3, then I will kind of get back on the Boston train. But for right now, man, I see a gentleman's sweep at the very least, and that's what I see. And some big changes coming through Boston, which is much to the delight of my New York Knicks in the Atlantic division here. So get maybe we can get a Jaylen Brown. You never know to pair with Jalen Brunson, man. So I'm all about self on this one. I'm all about the Celtics imploding, man.
So are y'all done with RJ Barrett? Y'all done with him?
Depends on, everybody's expendable to me except for Brunson. So I mean, I like what RJ Barrett does. Like he's probably the most available guy out of his draft if we're talking 1, 2, 3 in terms of his progression and just being around. And I mean, he's improved every year. He's improved every year.
Yeah, but if you bring in Jaylen Brown, they can't coexist.
You got to get rid of him. Yeah, you got to he got to go. Obi has to go. Quickly is gonna go. It's gonna gut our entire young core. But I mean, Quickly was a no-show when he was healthy in the playoffs. Obi looked lost at times, but he did provide some good minutes, sparingly, albeit not really in the Miami series. So I'm cool with letting those guys all go and some draft picks. We got the capital. If not, win. You know what I mean? You want to maximize Jalen Brunson's time, and he's about in his. Yeah.
The only thing is like y'all made some good steps, and you don't want to cause too much, change and turmoil. You need some stability too, because I feel like y'all need a new coach. I don't like Tibbs. Like Tibbs, he ain't it. We know what his ceiling is. No.
I got my thing about Tibbs, but I'm not a fan of a team that goes to the playoffs every year, has championship aspirations, or make deep runs. So as long as this guy is getting me to the playoffs, I'm gonna be a little bit. I don't have the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Sun. I'm not acting like this happens all the time. Like you got to be a little cautious and let this thing cook, because I think this year or next year is the time to strike in terms of free agents. I just know in my heart of hearts, man, just don't go after Dame, man. Like I don't want 34-year-old Dame, even though he's coming off his best season. I think him and CJ didn't work out, nor do I think him and Brunson will work out. You don't want two guards that's under 6'3",
You
out there.
you
So
can't have that. That's too much of a defensive liability.
right. So you just create an issue, and Randall, I don't know. I don't know where his head's at, man. But I
I
mean,
like
he's
Julius.
just
I think Julius Randle gets a bad rap. Like
he gets us there. He gets us there. He doesn't miss games. He shows up. He plays. He probably would have played all 82 games, or maybe at least 80. He probably would have sat a game or two because we had our position locked up. So he gets us there. Without him, we don't get to the playoffs the last 2 or 3 years. But when he gets there, man, his mind. I haven't seen nothing like it. He averaged 18. He was hurt too this year, so that's the built-in excuse. But he did it before, and he wasn't hurt the previous time.
yeah,
So
but it's just like for me, man. It's just like all right, like you said, the same way organizations don't have patience, fans don't have patience either. You're a well-adjusted fan, so you're like, you know what, we're making the playoffs good, but I don't think anybody was expecting the Knicks to win the championship this year. I
no,
don't
no, no.
expect the Knicks to beat. I certainly didn't. So
I
it's like
didn't.
okay,
I didn't expect them. I expect them to make the playoffs with Jalen Brunson, but I didn't expect them to win in that fashion in the first round. Nor did I. Uh, at this point, we've playing them better than Boston have played the
that
Heat.
and that's what I'm saying. So it's like you see that, like just do another inventory of what you have. I'm like, okay, maybe we need to get like one ancillary piece instead of trying to go out for a superstar.
Yeah,
Like just
if it's not a home run, I don't want it. Like I talk about the Jalen Brown, but it's like with what? Because if you just swap out Randall for Jalen Brown, I'm not sure you necessarily get anything from that. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I mean, who going to defend who like defensively? Who got Randall, man? Like you need size. Randall's not a great defender, but you still need size. Jalen
Yeah.
Brown can't do that Randall defense. You
Yes,
know,
and yeah, if it's a superstar, you're gonna have to give up a lot, and that may include Mitchell Robinson, who's our best shot blocker and one of our best defenders. So, I mean, Nick's out of it. I'm waiting on the draft that and see what we do there. We don't have a first round pick, but I'm interested to see what happens in the draft, so that in free agency we can kind of wrap our heads around what happens, because I think a lot that happens in the draft is going to dictate what happens with us, with Portland Trailblazers, so on and so forth, and some other key guys that may become disgruntled at some point this summer. So we'll see.
certainly will, man.
All right, man. Yo, James, man, thanks for hopping on, man. To holler at me, man. Promote some of your music. Y'all don't know King James. He is an artist. He is a musician as well. So, man, I know he just dropped Kill Switch and a few other singles. He has a project out right now. So, man, rattle those things off so people could come find you.
So of course, Kill Switch. Myself featuring my brother Jr. Queen back with Sweetie, produced by Kill. On all streaming platforms. Um, Also got a couple of joints. Me and Jr. Quiet Storm, same picture. Like just dropping singles and stuff. But project I've been working on for a long time. Wise to Dome. He's dropping next Friday. It's a compilation album. A lot of dope MCs, including myself. I also engineered the project, so it's definitely gonna be super dope. Make sure you check that out as well. And I'm just working on stuff here and there. Trying to get in my engineer bag a little bit more and expand my horizons.
Dope, dope, dope. So again, y'all, let us know how you feel about these picks, man. Do you feel Boston has it in them? Do you feel like this series is over? Are they gonna come back? Y'all let us know, man. We'll be back here shortly after these game 4s are over with next week, and see if our thoughts change at some point, man. So with that said, man, I'm Cash. That's James, man. We out episode 203.
Peace.